Welcome back to the Tank Strength YouTube channel, my ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are all doing very well. Today we're going to go over our 2025 Streetlifting Classic Nationals. I've squatted over 750 pounds. I've benched over 500 pounds numerous times. And I've deadlifted over 750 pounds. Here for the US of A. Now, before we get into the video here, I want to remind you, go visit tankstrengthcoaching.com. I am a performance and freak strength coach, okay? So if you guys are looking to up your game, no matter the goal, please reach out to me and at least we can talk. All right, let's get into the video. All right, guys. USA Streetlifting Nationals 2025. Now, this is the classic division. So that's just the pull-ups and just the dips. Opening pull-up is going to be 170 pounds. Opening dip is going to be 297 and a half. Now, feeling pretty good overall. Got my liquid in, got my food in this morning. Nerves are starting to hit me. My only concern is I'm feeling a little bit dizzy. And I don't know if that's me being nervous because I've gotten dizzy in the past, or I'm actually getting dizzy. But the only thing I can really do right now is just drink a lot of liquid, get my hydration up. I had my salts this morning, so we'll see. But let me show you what the comp looks like. All right, first things first is going to be our chin-ups. Now, the goal going in today was at least 190. That's what I wanted to hit. In training, I hit a 205 chin up, but it was not the competition standards. I kind of swung into it and did what they do, like kind of a stretch reflex at the bottom. So if I could hit 190 today, I would be very, very happy. Last year, 2024, I think I only got maybe 170, which is what I opened up with today. Here, check it out.
Let's go, Tom!
Frankly, that moved really, really good. And I knew I wanted to hit that 190. My plan with the streetlifting meet is not really what I would say my plan with a typical powerlifting meet was. I really wanted to push the lifts. So in powerlifting, because we have the squat, the bench, and the deadlift, those are all three very big and very taxing lifts. That's one aspect of it. And the other aspect of it is I'm really competitive with powerlifting, not so much with streetlifting. Today I was actually the only competitor in my class, which is 101 plus. Please guys, if there's anyone here in the US of A, please, if you're over 101 kilograms or basically 220 pounds, show up and compete with me because then we can have some fun. I'm a big boy. I did pretty well overall, but I'd like to get some weight class competitors as well. Anyways, all that to say is that 190 was the goal. I already hit the 170 for my first pull. Felt pretty good. Felt pretty confident with the 190 as well going in for my second attempt. Now, you'll see if you take a look at the live stream or you take a look at some of the other lifters, there's plenty of different grip widths people will take. I take a pretty wide grip width. Some people are very impressed online with the mobility at the shoulder. Let me explain to you something. It's actually not that difficult for someone like myself to grab out a little bit wider compared to closer. And here's the big reason. It's actually my ability to supinate my hand, okay? So supination is when we take our hand and go like this, okay? For a pull-up, we're pronated. For a chin-up, we are supinated. If I were to grab a straight bar, because of my chest size, because of my bicep size, it's difficult for me to have a supinated grip with the bar. Over time, it has definitely gotten better. Just because you're big doesn't mean you have a lack of mobility, but it's something you have to pay attention to. Now, with that wider grip, I actually can reach and get my shoulder in more of a supinated position the wider I go out. So let's say I raise my arm just like that, and this is about as much range of motion I can get if I were to just kind of grab in front of me. My left shoulder is even worse. But if I bring my hand out a little bit wider, just can't see so much on the camera, there you go. If I bring my hand a little bit wider, I can actually get back, and I can get my elbow supinated a little bit more. So the range of motion is not that difficult for me. The other aspect people worry about is elbow or bicep issues on these wide grip pull-ups. A couple things on that point. One, we adapt. That's what human beings are made for. We might not be the strongest animals, might not be the fastest animals, but we are the most adaptable. Our bodies are made to adapt. Our mind is made to adapt. So, if you train properly, one, and two, if you're not abusing drugs, I'm drug free. I'm not, my tendons are the tendon strength I have is matched up with the muscular strength as well. And it's a skill that I've developed over time to grab out a little bit wider. That and all the strict curls that you guys know me for too has strengthened my bicep tendon, strengthened my bicep, where I feel pretty protected even with that wider grip. So going into that second attempt, I feel really confident. As you can tell there, the plates set up on the street lifting is a bit difficult, and hopefully we'll find some way to make them a little bit better. But these guys have to take those plates, they have to put it on this box. This box was kind of squishy. It was like a box for box jumps. And because of that, it was actually kind of pretty hard to set up. And I was having a hard time, as you saw in the first video, trying to get behind it, lean over, and strap myself into the weights, frankly, because the apparatus to do the pull-ups on it was a little small compared to how big my ass is. So anyways, start from the front, wrap that guy in, lock myself in, get up, then turn around the box, and then we get our grip position going for that 190 chin. Check it out.
Let's see it.
Boom, 190, pass with flying colors. I can't tell you how happy I was because of that. Not only because I was kind of nervous going with the chin-ups to this competition. Again, like I said, I hit that 205 earlier, but as far as like my overall chin strength, it didn't feel as good. And even going to this competition, I was like a little unsure. Part of me was a little unsure, but part of me was kind of confident because I know this feeling. I know the feeling of the fatigue building up going into a competition. I know how good I feel after a taper. Now, when we're prepping for a competition, what is fatigue? What is a taper? All this. When we're prepping for that competition, our goal is to be as strong as possible on the competition day. So in the peaking phase, or the last 4 weeks or so, what we do is we introduce a lot of stress. Now we're pushing the stress, but we're also pushing the adaptation a ton too. We're working with heavy singles. The strategy for the chins were like 3 sets, 2 reps, and then 3 reps, 2 reps, and then 1 rep. And that was for like the last 8 weeks. And then I kind of cycled that through, and it was like 1 rep, RP, 8, 9, 10 for me. And then it was between 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10. So really intense work that we're doing going into this day. For my dips, I actually trained bench before dipping. As you guys saw, I would bench, do my chins, and then I would do my dips. So everything was kind of in a state of fatigue. Now, we've built up all this fatigue, and that's kind of actually masking our true strength. So we've created all this fatigue, but we've also created all this stimulus. Our body's growing stronger. Even though it might not feel like that, even though it might feel tough, our body's getting stronger. What we do that last week, our taper, we drop the fatigue by not doing as much, just doing a little bit to keep the joints mobile, loose, and feeling good. And then on the day of, the fatigue drops, our body super compensates. So we're really strong on the day of, and then we perform our feats of strength, okay? So hit that 190, felt really good. Now for the competition, my chin needs to go above the line of the barbell. And you can see that here coming up. That is a full chin up or full pull. I believe the military has the same standard, chin above the bar. Okay, it's not chest to chin. It's not your whole head above the bar, chest to bar. It's not your whole head to above the bar. It's not anything like that. It is your chin above the barbell. That is a pull, okay? Now, going into this, I know I don't have the ability to kind of grind and pause at the top with how wide my hands are. So what I need to be doing is be as explosive and as forceful as possible throughout the entire range of motion for me to be able to hit that top end, okay? Check out my all-time PR in competition, 201 at a 265 body weight. Let's get it.
Let's go, Tom! Let's go, Tom!
All right, pull-ups went really, really well. Probably the best they've ever gone. I was nervous in training, but in the back of my head, I knew based on the last competition that I was gonna be there that day. The chin on the last attempt barely got above the bar, but that's all we need. We need to be comp standard. We don't need to be pausing our chin above the bar. We don't need to be touching our chest above the bar. People are going way too much where you could be using more load. But anyways, we got dips coming up now. Pec is feeling pretty good, so I'm going to be opening up at 297. And if that moves well, I'm just going to push her straight to 150 because we're not here to play games. Let's just do it. All right, before we get into the dips, I want to talk one more thing about those chins. Unbelievably grateful, unbelievably happy through the hard work, through proper coaching with my coach, Josh Bryant, Jailhouse Strong, and of course, the grace of God and the gifts that I've been given. I was able to achieve such an amazing feat of 201 pounds at 260 body weight. You know, that's like someone doing a lat pull down with 460 pounds. I was able to do all that, but one of the things that I figured out was what my feet positioning were doing. Now, there's someone on Instagram I was watching. What he would do is he would take his feet and he would pinch the plates, and he would go and do the chin up. Now, my issue last competition was a kick I would get in my leg. Didn't matter what weight, it didn't matter how much I wanted to control this kick. Any weight above like 160, my foot would start kicking, just a little kick. And that is not okay in a street lifting competition. You can't kick at all. They don't want to use any momentum. So what I would decide to do is what this guy was doing. As I started to take my feet, I pinched the plates with my feet, and you pull down into the plates. So I'm locking my legs in position, nice and stable. The key to force production, I've talked about this before, I will continue to talk about this. The key to force production is stability in the joints that are not supposed to be moving, so we can produce force and power in the joints that are, okay? That's what a squat is, that's what your bench is, that's what your deadlift is. And then, even if we want to go further out from that, we go into an athletic sphere, right? Even on a field play, dynamic, everything like that. It's all about force production. If we can produce more force in a somewhat more stable environment like a barbell back squat, when we're running down the field and we have to hit a guy, we have to hit an MFer, our leg is going to be able to feel that stability into the ground, produce the force, boom, and power through. That's why you don't see people who are strong and big squatting on a Bosu ball, because that's too unstable. On the same time, we can't be doing all leg extensions all day or leg presses all day. There needs to be a nice balance, and that's where the barbell lifts, and that's where these street lifting competitions and lifts come into place. So, what do I do to stabilize my lower body? Use my legs. I bend my legs, pinch the plates, this way I cannot kick, and I do the chin. And it's okay. It's cleared by the technique of the rules. So any of you guys street lifters out there who have a problem with kicking or leg positioning, I recommend squeezing your glutes, opening up your legs, pulling down into the plates with your feet, and then boom, pull. Okay, let's get into the dips. Hips were not low enough. 150, a little bit more weight. Allow me to pull that weight down a little bit lower. That was one thing. The other thing too is my mistake. I did not understand the rules. In the year past, it was the hip joint had to be below the parallel bars. This year, it was the bottom of the belt had to be below the parallel bars. So my friend gave me an extra carabiner so I could set the belt a little bit lower and hopefully kind of get down a little bit lower as well. I felt really good. It felt really strong. My technique is there. I just need to work a little bit more on that hip depth to make it a little bit more comfortable. But regardless, going into this, I felt nervous a little bit, but I felt confident. I knew I could hit this. The 150 kg or 330 pounds was honestly like nothing. So, took a sniff of ammonia, went out there and crushed it. And as you guys can tell, that flew. Now, 150 was my goal. That's what I really wanted to hit. That was, if I hit that, I would be fine, especially with kind of that pec minor irritation I had going into the competition. I was a little bit nervous about that, but I was able to warm it up pretty good. And honestly, when I was competing, I didn't feel it at all. And knock on wood, I haven't felt it since. So, feeling good. I decided let's bump it 20 pounds. Let's go to 160 kg or 352 pounds. Took some sniff of ammonia. Got amped. Let's get it.
160 kilograms.
We got it. Let's go.
And although it might look like it on camera, I did not get the 160. The shoulder depth was not an issue, got down low enough for that. I was pretty happy for like myself, you know, not to competition standard, but for myself, I was pretty happy with how I moved that weight. The weights definitely pulled me down. I brought myself back up. But again, with the misunderstanding of the rules, I did not understand at the time I needed to get that belt even lower. I should have probably adjusted my belt down lower onto my hips. But I was also kind of nervous about the whole belt pulling my pants off, to be honest with you. You can see on the 150, I was asking the guy in front, I was like, honestly, if something pops out, I'm sorry. But you know, there's a misunderstanding of the rules. There's nothing really to be upset about here, because I did perform really well. I hit some personal goals of mine, and I was the only one competing in my weight class. Even if I did hit this 160, I would have still gotten only second overall. There were some amazing competitors. I really like what Eugene, the president of Streetlifting, did as far as determining who was the overall winner. And honestly, I think this is how most competitions should be judged, or at least competitions, strength-based competitions like this. You know, powerlifting, maybe even Olympic weightlifting, street lifting as well, which you take the total that you have and you compare it to the world record of that class, And then percent-wise, whoever has the highest percentage of the world record wins the competition. I think this way it gets rid of the body weight coefficient, because you can't tell me that a guy who weighs, 180 pounds and he's pulling, 180, 200 pounds, extremely impressive, more than his body weight. But frankly, he doesn't weigh as much. We add his weight up and we add the weight total I'm lifting, including my body weight, for something like a pull, I'm lifting a lot more. For the dips, it's a little bit different, especially if you work your technique. You can kind of not involve the weight of your legs a little bit more. But if you were even doing very strict hips up and down technique, you're involving a lot of your legs as well. So that's kind of also why you see a lot of these street lifters. They have amazing physiques, don't get me wrong. That's probably, as far as strength sports go, probably have the best physiques, but they have no legs. Every single one of them, their squats are honestly quite sad compared to that of a powerlifter. But for me, I have these ginormous legs I'm carrying around. That's a lot of extra body weight that's not going to aid into my pull-up. It would, though, aid into my squat for the full street lifting meet. Maybe if you guys stick around, I'll eventually hit one of those one day. But now up next, I have nationals in powerlifting. So stay tuned. That's the next big thing. I'm going to be putting out videos here, episodes, weeks until the powerlifting competition, getting prepped, getting ready to go, and taking you guys on the journey with me. So stay tuned. Again, visit tankstrengthcoaching.com if you got any questions. Excited to see you. Excited to talk to you too.